kati omu ku bantu abagamba nti bamutwa yenzi ye kati kankikubuulire. I stood for the membership of Parliament my first time in 2006. But I lost the election to rigging. I decided to go to court, but we had a protracted fight in courts of law for 4 years. However, before the people of Mukono, for them, they looked at me as their MD. And whenever there will be anything bad against them, they will come and report to me. So on that day, people working, while claiming that they were working for Juma Seiko, came and they released the full village. It had a senior secondary school with classes running up to senior 6. And it had a primary school of 7 classes. And it had a nursery school, like all kindergartens. And then several people who had houses there, most of them low income earners in Mukono, and many of them being single mothers. So in one night, Juma Seiko came with machinery and knocked down houses in the whole of village. It was said that even some women would say that they had been raped. It was mayhem what they did at Chitega there. So people came to me as the de facto member of parliament for this area and reported that matter, saying that Bakalwa was nowhere to assist them. That's why they had turned it to me. The fact that I had not been sworn in was irrelevant to them. For them, they already took me as their MP. So I went like everybody else to that village to see what had been done so bad. Nobody reached that place and failed to shed a tear among us leaders. So while I was at home, Juma Seiko sent me someone called, by then he was captain, today is Major Segujja.
Major Segujja, what is his other name?
He's now a major. By then he was a captain. He told me that Juma Seiko had sent him to tell me that he was going to give me 10 million shillings so that I leave his. I abandoned the position I had given myself as the head of the citizens' effort to resist his land grabbing. He said, I have 10 million for you, but we are not going to take long bargaining with you. We want one thing. Either I take this man and keep quiet, or you don't take it and we pay it to people who will work on you. Sente ozitwala otuveeko, oba si kyo tugenda ziwa omuntu omulala akukoleko. Tugenda ziwa abantu abalala bakukole ki? Nze ne mugamba, take this money and give it to those people who are going to work on you, because I can't benefit from such an absurdity, such a very bad action against the society. I can't. I will not be comfortable at heart to betray those people I saw there who have nowhere to go right now. And I told them that even when I give up, it won't be sure deal that there won't emerge another person to lead them, because leadership doesn't allow for a vacuum. You get away, that will get somebody else to come up and do that. So I went on with organizing the meeting and calling for assistance, because I had the power of the radio. People from far and near promised that they will come and deliver the assistance, roses, food, even real money for the sake of transporting some people away, tents, or even offers of houses, so that those people would stay there as we go back to court. Because by and large, for us, we thought that the court had erred, the magistrate had erred in law and fact when she was deciding that matter, and gave Juma Seiko clearance to go and evict people. We looked at the land, we said what was being done was not legally correct. The force they had used was so much. The fact that we are facing UPDF soldiers was in itself telling. So the meeting was on. They told me, you said that the meeting is cancelled. I said, no, the meeting is on. I don't know what form it will take, but the fact of the matter that it will be there is not debatable. So on that day, as I came, as I was moving in the car to go to the venue of the meeting, I was kidnapped by people who were traveling in a saloon car. But they took me to Mukono police. The residents started rioting, and for about an entire afternoon, vehicles could not cross through Mukono to Jinja, or from Jinja to Kampala. It was a very, very big fight back. A lot of tear gas and even live bullets were fired at the citizens. But people were saying, I've had enough of this. So when they took me to Mukono police, my lawyers came. All along they had put in women, this woman on a minister, Nabakooba. Nabakooba during that time was passing as a civilian. She's one person who made sure that wherever I was on that day, she would be there. And I later learned that she had been the spy, the person who was spying on me, as they prepared to arrest me. And indeed, they arrested me. And I saw her at police after I had been arrested. That's the first day I came to meet somebody called Nambooze'S. But again, I went to her and said, you a spy? And said, no. For me, I'm somebody who has just graduated with a degree in mass communication. I'm here to write a story. Even Honorable Bali Kudembe Joseph was one of my lawyers. He said, yes, I want to meet Nambooze'S to talk about that today. So at first she was not uniform. She was a spy. She was maybe working beside office. People came up to police. Mukono people came up to police and said, this lady, what she's complaining about is what we are all complaining about in Mukono. So the DPC then was called Mr. Aulian, something like that. He came and told me that I had become a very big risk to be detained at Mukono police, and that decision had been taken to transfer me to Kampala. It was now night. They picked me from the cell and drove me towards Kampala. When we reached Namanga, the car I was traveling in got an accident. We are not hurt. They just moved me from that car to another. By the way, getting hurt during accidents is not just one thing of get a cutting or seeing blood. It was so traumatizing. People, when you look at the convoy that was escorting me to Kampala, you would think that I had done what? Many vehicles, and because they drive recklessly, that's why the vehicle I was traveling in got an accident. So they continued and took me to Kampala. I had a baby, 2 weeks. Mulungi was 2 weeks. I left there and I became a prisoner. So when they took me to Kampala, at CPS they received me and even took me to the cell. But around 3 a.m., they came for me and called me out. When I got to the reception, they told me that they had released me. That their bosses had instructed them to release me. I told them, but I will be here until they might allow me even to sleep here at the reception so that I don't go back. It's a very bad place. It is so cold down there. They said, you are going to go. You will have to leave police if you want or you don't want. So they pushed me out of CPS. A Primoka was parked on the other side of the road. 3 men ran out of that car and came and grabbed me. As soon as these people threw me out of the police station compound, because they pushed me from inside the compound. I was fighting not to go. They were fighting to make me go. So if you have released me in good spirit, how can you send me away here at 3 a.m.? First of all, I don't have money. How do I reach Mukono? They said they will go. But of course, they wanted me to get into the hands of people who are going to work on me. They think they had promised me that if you don't pick the 10 million, we shall get people to work on you. So those people grabbed me, threw me into the car on the seat behind, and sat on me. Kweyentebe yemabega ku mutwe bansindika n'enguuku ne bajja ne bantuulako. Ne ntandika okubeera tormented. Banfumita nzenna. Oba bikwanso, oba mpiso naye banfumita. Every part they pricked me era bwe nali naakava mu kkomera mwami wange akimanyi nga ne mwe banfumise nga mulabika. Bwe twatuuka ekireka ne bakyama ne bantwala ewaggulu mu budde obwo twayitangayo Wembule. Naye kati ng'olwo ntandise nze n'okukifalinga nga gye banfumise ng'omubiri gwonna kati gunnuma everywhere waliwo prick. N'ekyokuba nti 3 huge men had sat on me nga bantwala bwe batyo nga bantuddeko agasajja 3. Kati ekireka twamalawo eddakiika nga 3 ate ne baddamu ne banziza mu mmotoka ne bavuga. Nendooza kati banziza Mukono kasita nalaba nga bakutte luno oluki nti ndooza banziza Mukono ebunaakera ku makya bante nga bwe babadde bagambye. Naye kati ng'olwo neeraliikirira kimu, banfumise. Babadde banfumitira ki? Kakati ebantwala nentuuka erugazi naye by that time netandika okusesema ennyo nefuna omusujja gwe bayita ogw'ekitengo ogwo omuntu edda abantu webagulwalala nga ewaffe nga bagamba musooke mumubikke mukeeka nefuna omusujja ogwo ogw'ekitengo nentandika osesema nze obulamu bwange I don't vomit era nze nga ngamba n'ogamba nti londabanga nsesema omanya nga nfa because that is one thing I rarely get. Tandika okusesema kati bwe bwakeera ku makya olwo awuliyeene yali DPC ebbanga eryo lyonna lyonna buli we bantwalanga namusangangawo namulaba e Kampala nga bangoba ku CPS namulaba ekireka era namulaba ne Lugazi by then office ye yali Lugazi enkulu yali headquarter ya police Mukono district. Tubakera ku makya ne baleeta omusawo ne bangamba ono ye musawo gwe tuleese okujjanjaba. I told them but then I'm supposed to be treated by a doctor of my choice. Angamba gwe omanyirira bwereere ojja kujjanjaba. They subjected to me a compulsory medical treatment lwampaka n'oyo omusawo n'aleeta empiso naye n'azinkuba nga nze simanyi na kiki kyanzijanjaba but of course the 10 million was working. So eventually I heard them saying nga ndi awo bwentyo mpulira omanyi ka uniport akabeeramu abakazi emirundi gisinga abasirikale kali kumpi ne ofiisi y'abali nga bagamba Lukwago ne bbaawe balabika bategedde nti ali wano era batugambye bali mu kkubo bajja kyenawulira nabyo nokulaba nga batambula awo bapapa then they brought a vehicle and told me get out sit here era nabawulira nga bagamba nti mutwale Tololo ne banteeka mu mmotoka. But as the car was moving from police like this, Lukwago, who was traveling in the same car with Mayor Seven George, came and parked in front of it. And they jumped out. They had some other young men. They said, we are going to fight here until we die. But you will not take numbers when we are still in our human flesh. The battle started. They told them, we are going to arrest you. They brought guns. They brought what Lukwago said, you can only take care when I'm dead. Because surely where are you taking her? Kati abasajja olwagira ndowooza ne balaba tukiro Lukwago was going to become something very big. And then cars had started moving from Mukono for people who were coming to police. They say we are going to fight until we get numbers. So many people were now running towards the police. This is when Aulian said, okay, let's take her to Mukono and take her to court. And that was the demand of Honorable Lukwago. And he said, this woman has a baby. This woman has a baby who has not been breastfed in the last 24 hours. So Lukwago insisted that he moves in the same police vehicle with me, that he could no longer trust those people, that they are going to drive me to court. So when he came in, I said, he told me, I've been told that these people are going to kill us through injecting substances in our body. Then I told him, Bam for me say, either not Nakava. He had come to warn me about something. Certain policemen had told him that you, Lukwago, Numbers, and the rest that group, there is a plot to inject poison in your bodies. So be very, very careful not to get into those people's hands anyhow. So when he told me, I told him they have already injected me. It was so sad. I told him what they had done to me as we traveled from Kampala to Lugazi. They never stopped. Even when we got out of Chireka and went back, first of all, they sat on me still and continued pricking me up to Lugazi. So they delivered me at Mukono court. I still remember the magistrate was called Biaro. I last got to know his station of work when he was in Chiboga. Because after my case, they removed him from there. So the man refused to convene a court. When people would go to him and say, I'm still doing my coursework, I'm at school. Today is the deadline for my coursework. You will have to wait. At 6, in fact, it was 6:20 p.m. He convened the court. Lubago made submissions to the fact that I was sick. Police now brought in a doctor said, that one we have already taken out to hospital and this is her medical form. And on that medical form they had written that I was suffering from malaria. Magistrate said malaria is not a very urgent thing. That is simple sickness. The fever I have is not malaria. It is because they pricked me. He said, you see malaria? Now magistrate explained. You see malaria. We all have malaria, we Africans. So when you get stressed up, it opportunistically come out as now a disease. Then he said, yes, I've granted you bail. Cash, 500,000 cash, but you must pay in the bank. And the bank was closed till 6. So it was intentional that you borrowed me until 6 and said, bail is after you paying the money, and then there was no bank. So they remanded me to Karuga prison. My baby had been brought now. If you look on the internet, that photograph was there. I went into prison while carrying that girl. Late in the night, the spokesperson of Uganda prison is today. It's called the spokesperson of Uganda prison. The name is like that. Came with free vehicles and he told the people, the prison warders at Mukono remand home there, remand prison, that they had received intelligence reports that the people of Mukono were going to overrun in that prison that night. So they decided to transfer me to New Zealand until I settled the issues of my bail. Because I had already been granted the bail, and what remained was to wait for the banks to open the next day, and I go out. He took me to New Zealand. I wasn't very sure that where they were taking me. But now I had also my baby. Mulungi. They took me to New Zealand that night. The next day when I got up, the whole prison had been surrounded by red top. That women's prison. It was If they could even make government to deploy to that level, that you bring it to Zira, the military police, because Nambooze'S is in Zira. So they got another car and they drove me back to Mukono under very, very tight security. Buli we twayitawo nange abantu bagenda bawugana Nambooze nga mbawulira naye nga nze ndi musibe ne kabebi kange. Right now Mr. Bakirika has taken Mulungi to hospital. Omunange yalwala ekifuba olw'enkawunti eyo tawonanga n'olwaleero kati ali mu senior one naye tawonanga. Afuna attacks since then. Waliwo abagamba nakola bubi omunooza. He took part of the poison. Tebaali mundeetedde mu kkomera, baali mulese taatawe. So ebigambo byali bifulumye nga bitambudde nti banfumise ebiso, and everybody was expecting that that must have been chemicals which are dangerous to life. So Mr. Honorable Chiyinja and his wife Nachiwala Chiyinja, we are still very staunch people and colleagues. Nachiwala was a minister in Mengo. They offered to rush me to hospital as soon as I got out of the hands of those people, together with my people, and go try, because Dr. Nambooze came up with a certain herb that at least it will arrest it. So as soon as I got out of the prison, they had brought their Mercedes Benz. I and the child were taken to Nachiwala's clinic called Elisa and started off treatment. I never got well, it became worse, especially in the stomach. For several days I could not go to the toilet. So after some time they decided to take me to South Africa. I got assistance from both the Kabaka and Dr. Besich for that treatment. Although the address I gave here in Kampala was Flora Hospital of South Africa, private hospital, I was treated in Kulisane Balagani Hospital, Balagwani Hospital, Kulisane Balagwani Hospital. That hospital has a clinic for poison, because the whites during apartheid period they poisoned so many of the African leaders. They developed that capacity. It's a center that handles slow poison. It is the best in that area south of Sahara. Here we wrote Flora because we didn't want those people to follow me up. The fact of the matter is that I was treated in Pulisane Balagwan Hospital. You see, people announced to me that it is that spy system of Uganda that announced me that they wanted me to get out and say, ndi wano mujemu, sinafa. So we read through the actions and I did not come out to say, hey, banange bambise naye nzuno wano wendia. Just kept quiet until I went through. We spent about 3 months there with my husband.
So which year is this?
Must must have been 2008. Either 2007 or 2000, but 2008.
So, because why I'm asking the year is then there's another incident of 2016.
So I was treated, and when they checked my blood, the result showed that I had hard metal in my blood. They call it hard metal, but the fact of it is when they say you have hard metal in your blood, they mean you have poison. And the letters I have the medical documents that shows I was treated with poison in South Africa. Since then, I've never been fine. I'm always on and off. It was made worse by this attacker in 2017, a young from Mukono. So when they arrested me and took me to Bundibujo in 2009, it was 2009?
Yeah, 2008.
The situations I went through, the exposure, the things I was exposed to, made me sick. For me, I spent a full month nga siri coherent mu byenjogera. And Matembe came and saw me in that situation, and they brought in a consultant, Dr. Mungerera. She now passed on. Dr. Mungerera treats people, if you are not courteous enough, mad people. I was mad. So she treated me. So every time I get a complication, but of course every complication is traced back to
To
that
that